Hi, my name is Onwuli and I am from Nigeria. I work with Youth Network for Community and Sustainable Development, YNCSD, as the Communications and Advocacy Officer. I'm an SRHR advocate, and most of my organization's work focuses on improving sexual and reproductive health and rights services for women and girls. Prior to the pandemic, most of our work focused on reaching out to government officials to improve policies surrounding SRHR or access to SRHR services for women and girls living in Nigeria. Since the pandemic started, most of our advocacy work has been put on hold because we could not have in-person visits. Now, since the pandemic, there has been greater solidarity amongst African CSOs, especially with the rise of increased networks and platforms for CSOs to come together and share learning on how they have continued to carry out advocacy despite the pandemic. With the pandemic, we have had to integrate technology into our work to continue with our advocacy. So where we could not have in-person visits, we now try to reach out to these government agencies through Zoom calls or through webinars or through podcasts. So even with our beneficiaries, that is women and girls, we have podcasts to address SRHR issues that these beneficiaries might be facing. The future for advocacy in Nigeria or Africa is really bright, especially because most of the advocacy has focused on empowering grassroots communities or even beneficiaries who are underserved. These people who have been empowered will be able to take on the advocacy for themselves and then address their issues at higher levels. I think it's important that donors invest in projects that are technology-led or projects that focus on improving technology so that a lot of people can be reached. It's also important for donors to focus on projects that seek to empower people at the grassroots so that in future we will not need to continue to reach out to them, but then they can step up and advocate their issues themselves.